Something that I find super helpful when I'm calling my power back to me is identifying what that person took in the first place. For example, did somebody make you really confused and that somehow took power from you? What is the opposite of confusion? 'Tis a knowing, okay? So if someone is working confusion over you or around you, call back your knowing. Actually, you know what? I do know that. Actually, you know what? I do know. I call back my knowing from this person, this place, this thing, this organization, this space. You give yourself some grace in the process. Or let's try another example. If you've been through something that's really hard, something that could have been really traumatic, no trigger warning specifics, just as a general example, calling back your will might be helpful. Sometimes in those situations, we don't really have a choice. Sometimes people take those choices from us and we just have to do our best with what is around. If someone has brought violence around you, calling back your power of safety, oh my gosh, is like super powerful to do. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So crazy how helpful it is, to be honest. Yeah. If someone delayed you or interrupted you, call your time back. Thank you, that was mine, and it still is, and forever will be. The other thing I like to do on the other side, so I call back what it is that it has been stolen from me, taken from me, that for whatever reason I was disconnected from. Call it back, it's mine. Thanks. Then, as an extra layer, I banish that person's ability to steal from me, thieve from me, and take from me forever. The forever part, for me, is really important. Forever, there's no ending, it just goes on forever. Forever and ever and ever. Thank you so much. I will be that forever. You're not allowed to come back. Also, as a Scorpio stellium, I work in big finalities. So, use your discernment, and that's how I do. Another thing I'll do in these situations too, if I feel like it's necessary, because sometimes with the way that I've learned to practice, it is. But it's going to depend on how you feel about it. This is a personal kind of touch that I put on this sort of work. I'll pray for them. May that person be elevated so they don't ever have to feel like they have to do that to a person ever again. You know what? The process of being elevated into a position where you're not causing another person harm, whether that person that you're praying for is causing that other person harm or you harm on purpose or not. That was sort of a run-on sentence. Hopefully that made sense. Whether that person is doing it purposely or not, to simplify. Going through the process of elevation, hard, super difficult, super hard. Elevation work is some of the hardest work you could do. You pray for somebody else's elevation who has done you wrong. They're already in the place where they're causing other people harm. So yeah, you could let them sit in it, and that would suck. But they already are sitting in it, and it already sucks. So what would happen if they're elevated into the position where now they don't feel like they're ever going to do a person harm like that ever again? The road to get there was probably long and difficult and taught them a lot of different lessons. So now that they're elevated out of that, well, okay then, they get to be free of whatever that thing was. And in the spirit, you'll probably get an apology, even if it's not direct. Maybe not, okay? Maybe not. And as a fate worker, I know that when I'm weaving fate and I'm speaking over somebody else who has done me wrong like that, I know the target's gonna land just because that's how my magic works. So they'll make it, and they'll never do that to another person ever again. And personally for me, I like that. Personally for me, I think that we will all benefit from that every once in a while. And may those people's processes of elevation not be interrupted. And that's the truth. Gratitude, reference, and love to you. This wasn't necessarily an astrology video, but keep up the brew that you do. I will too. If you wanted to look at your power placements, like what we would attribute to the power placements in astrology, Scorpio, 8th house, Pluto, sometimes Mars. It's gonna depend on the aspect or like the situation of that Mars and how it's being applied, but still applicable most of the time. But that's what to look at. And you didn't hear this from me. What a gold nugget at the end of this video. You didn't hear this from me, but here we are. If you know another person's placements of those spaces that I just aforementioned, then you know the power in their chart that they were using to do that to you in the first place. You also know where the process of that elevation is going to be forced onto them and where the boundaries of banishment are going to be set. So if not, you don't necessarily need that information, but if it is useful, now you know. Now you know. This is not me condoning doing that work, but if it's justified, hey, you know what? Let it ride. Gratitude, reverence, and love to you. Keep up the brew that you do. I will too. I know I said it once. I'm gonna say it again. And I'll talk to you soon. Also true.